Hey guys, this is the color palette, also known as the color wheel. This spread was invented by our graphic designer, Calvin. He made the observation one day that what makes a character super memorable, and what we tend to notice about people are their extremes. So, what they absolutely are and what they're absolutely not, what they love, what they hate, best relationships, worst relationships, that kind of thing. So that's what inspired this spread. Um, the basic alignment of it is that you draw an even number of cards. It can be any number of cards, 4, 6, 8, 10. It's up to you. And any color of cards. And you just set them up juxtaposed to each other to identify the extremes in their life. So here I'm drawing for a character. I need a co-pilot for a sci-fi story. And I have no idea what I've drawn. And I've drawn some character cards to figure out what they are, what they're not, where they are, where they are not. Um, Best relationship in their life, worst relationship in their life. So I've kind of divided it here, for positives on this side, for negatives or extremes on the opposite side, and I've lined the colors up so you can see what the matching cards are in terms of extremes, but you don't have to use the same cards for your polar ends. You can draw for whatever makes sense. So let's see what we have here. Again, I'm looking for a co-pilot for a sci-fi story. And I'm thinking a female character. Okay, what they are. Interesting. Traitor. Unique moral compass not shared by their community. Interesting. So she definitely is. This doesn't necessarily mean somebody who has betrayed you, or who is sitting on betrayal, although it could, and a lot of that's going to depend on the opposite card over here. But she definitely has a strong moral sense that is not in alignment with the people around her, or at least where she's from. So let's see what's on the opposite end. She's definitely not. Oh, interesting. Okay. So she doesn't like to benefit. As a coffin maker, someone whose livelihood depends on the misfortune of others, I'm going to say she is somebody who doesn't like to benefit from other people's sorrow. And I actually really like this as an opposing force to the traitor, because traitor could be a very negative spin, and this really helps to balance that out. And let's decide where she actually, instead of where they are, I'm gonna say where she's from. Where is she from? Okay, first thoughts that come to mind when I see this card. Volatile, loud, crazy, chaotic, unpredictable. Um, the prompt on the card, volcano, just means unstoppable force, planet's womb, poisonous vapor. It's the epitome of starting over. So she comes from an unstable background. Um, and where she's definitely not from. Whoops, come on. Mountain, physical space for exploring the internal soul. Holy mountains are meant to be hard to climb. I like this. Okay, so already here we have a very strong sense of a character, um, who's kind of a loner, but hasn't necessarily had a lot of time to get to know herself, because things have been crazy. Um, Although the 2 points that we absolutely know about her, that she and this is something these are probably both things she knows about herself, honestly. That she doesn't necessarily believe what everyone else around her believes, but she absolutely does not want to take advantage of other people. um so I think, this being a place that she is not from, um places where she can explore herself, I could see that being places that she seeks. So, again, the thing that's really nice about this drawing, you're looking for something memorable. You can use it for creating characters, weapons, settings, anything you want, really. But I'm really starting to see this character come to life. Um, let's see. Flip over the relationships next. So, you always want to clarify your question before you flip the card. I want to know, um, who she trusts the most and who she trusts the least. So who she trusts the most. Okay, I'm gonna say this is her puppets. So when the agency is being violated or aggressively manipulated, it causes severe cognitive dissonance until strings are cut. So her way of coping with the craziness in her life is to manipulate people, and she doesn't trust people when she can't control them. That is really dynamic, and I like this because I'm not thinking of a villain character here. I'm actually thinking it's a co-pilot in a story, and I'm thinking this is a supporting character. So I actually really love this character flaw. Um, let's see what's on this side. So, who she trusts, who she absolutely does not trust. Oh, this is also great, especially for sci-fi. So, interesting. She doesn't trust people if she has to pay them to do what's needed, which makes a lot of sense. Like, if somebody's willing to do something just because you're giving them money, then they'll probably betray you the moment somebody else pays them more. So, I really like that as an opposing force in her life. Um, which actually makes her super dependent on relationships, even though she isn't necessarily good at being vulnerable. This is great. This is interesting. Okay, last question. And then I want to know more about her internal landscape. So one of the things that's cool about the elements deck is that all archetypical elements are metaphors for what's going on internally in a character. So you can use these if you're looking for just pure emotion to inject in something. You can actually draw an element card because every element will symbolize some kind of emotion. So let's see what is going on and what's not going on inside of her. What is going on? Metalloid, a non-metal element that behaves like a metal, conductive, fusible, and or ductile. Trouble being categorized or fitting in is usually connected to extraordinary abilities. So the prompt that really stands out to me here is trouble being categorized or fitting in. So what's definitely going on internally is she doesn't feel like she belongs anywhere. On the opposite side, um, hmm. So what she's definitely not. When I think of miasma, this element for me always kind of symbolizes bias and stereotyping because miasma makes me think of hobos, honestly. Um, so when I think of miasma, I think of people who are pushed away too fast, where you're rejecting them based on the easiest thing that you can see, without considering what's inside. So I think that's something that she wouldn't do. So she manipulates, she doesn't trust people, but she also doesn't stereotype quickly, which again, that fits really nicely with the opposing force because she doesn't feel like she fits in very well. And one of the strengths that would naturally come from that is an ability to see people as they really are and appreciate them that way. So overall, this is really great. This is a co-pilot with trust issues, um, but also super aware of other people. These two cards really fit together nicely in that way. We have a good solid backstory for her. We have some great character flaws. Um, so yeah, I really love this drawing. And again, this is the color palette. We came up with this just by setting up cards and opposing forces, looking for memorable extremes for a character. I hope this is helpful. Thank you, Calvin, for the spread.